This is breaking news.
Hello, I'm KCRA 3 meteorologist Dirk Verdorn, and we're tracking a severe thunderstorm. A severe thunderstorm warning has been issued by the National Weather Service for Sacramento County. The area that it's impacting here is actually now moving more from Sacramento, the northeast corner of Sacramento County, over Lake Folsom into Placer County and portions of El Dorado County. Currently, the particular thundercell that they're interested in is right about here, and you can see there's some hail associated with it. So the potential is there for some strong gusty winds, possibly up to 60 miles per hour, and the potential also for some damaging hail, with hail sizes up to about 1/4 of an inch in diameter possible. You also can see numerous lightning strikes associated with this particular cell or this system as it works its way from the southwest off to the northeast, almost running parallel to I-80. So you can see it's just to the south of Rockland, and it's heading towards the Auburn area. So right now it's still fairly intense. It's been holding on as a very strong storm, and the reason why the National Weather Service has issued this warning is because of the potential for some damaging winds and possibly some damaging hail associated with it. The radar is showing you where we have right in here. I'm going to go ahead and stop it, the last frame, so we can see what it's like right now. You can see the heaviest precipitation is right here along Auburn Folsom Road. You can see that there, and as I zoom in, you can see also Dick Cook Road, and that's where we're seeing some of the heaviest rain. And it's areas like this, as this is moving along at a pretty good clip. So that's one good thing, is that it is moving fast. It's moving at about 35 miles per hour, but still it's going to dump a lot of rain in a short period of time. And again, especially if you have the hail associated with these thunderstorms that we've already seen today, that hail can clog up any of the storm drains that are in the area and cause some localized flooding. So that also could be an issue. Also, the potential for some dangerous lightning. So again, if you would stay indoors if you're in this area, don't venture out, don't go out driving, because there's the potential for some danger there as well. But these particular cells are not just located in this area. We're seeing others developing just to the south. So you can see over Rancho Cordova. It's not as intense, but we are still seeing some heavy rain now making its way over Rancho Cordova, again over Highway 50. That could cause some problems for folks that are driving there. Also along Highway 16, as you move from Sacramento to Slough House, you're going to run into some heavier rain. Now, this stretches all the way down to the outskirts of Elk Grove. And it doesn't stop there. We continue to see cells developing as you go through the southern portions of Sacramento County, near Thornton, on into San Joaquin County, and then also near Lockford we have some thunderstorms. So we have some very unstable air currently in the region creating all of these thunderstorms. But the main concern right now is this particular area here, where there is a severe thunderstorm warning that has been posted until about 3 p.m. is what we're looking at. It has moved a little bit. It's now moved out of Sacramento County into portions of Placer and El Dorado counties, just right along the American River over Folsom Lake is where we've been seeing some of the heavier precipitation. And this is going to continue to move at a pretty good clip, again about 35 miles per hour to the north and to the east, and it's starting to develop in the Auburn area. And we're seeing this also in through the Clipper Gap area, Meadow Vista, and Lake of the Pines. We're seeing that precipitation start to develop, and of course if you're in these areas, you're hearing the thunders. There's lots of lightning strikes associated with this, but these downpours can be dangerous, especially with the hail. If you get caught in a hailstorm, especially if you're driving, that could be a big problem. You can spin off, get out, go off the road, maybe hit another vehicle. Incidents like that can definitely happen in a situation like this. So that's why there is the severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued for this region, with the heaviest cell right here along the Auburn Folsom Road area. And again, this is moving to the north. Now, as these showers and thunderstorms have been developing in the valley and heading on into the hills, they've been intensifying. But of course, as they get into the colder air, this has also bbeen bringing about quite a bit of snow to the area. So this is not just a problem with driving around into the foothills or the valley, but if you're heading up into the mountains, this is all a major concern, because the roads are very icy up there. And for more details about what conditions are like in the Sierra, let's go up to Michelle Bandur, who is up along Highway 50 right now in El Dorado County. Michelle.
Hi, Dirk, and Merry Christmas, everyone. We've got from thunderstorms to the snowstorm here. We are seeing it come down right now. Let me show you where we are, give you some perspective of what's happening here. Highway 50 East, we are about 7.5 miles from the summit. We're just a couple miles from Twin Bridges, where chain controls are in effect from Twin Bridges to Myers right now. But we had a lull of the snow snow, and now it really is starting to come down again. There's a lot of moisture in it, so it's pretty wet. But what you can see from our camera is a lot of brake lights. These are not Christmas lights. We've got brake lights up here. There's a lot of holiday traffic. It was really packed in Strawberry, where people were pulled over and they were sledding and snowball fights. People coming up here to enjoy a white Christmas. But there's a lot of people doing that, so there is a lot of traffic. We have not seen any spinouts since we've been traveling today. We've just seen a lot of traffic and slow going here now because of the chain controls that we'll be coming up on at Twin Bridges. Traffic flowing fine for those heading west, heading back down the mountain that we can see. But right now it's also cold and it is a little bit windy. When we were out talking to folks, we'd get a couple little wind gusts there that made it kind of windy. So this is our view from our roof camera. This is my view, and then this is the view just from the perspective of right out our windshield here. So we're needing to use the windshield wipers. You can see we've got the kind of slushy, the mix of snow and rain here, making it a little bit slushy, some sleet, snow coming down. Again, just slow going. A lot of folks out here trying to enjoy the holiday, but it's taking some time. If you can put back up the map on your phone, if you don't mind there, I'm with photographer John Breedlove. When we started heading to, oh, here we go. So 33 minutes for us to go 7.5 miles to Echo Summit. So we've got some time to sit here in traffic, but that's what a lot of folks are doing. But we're prepared. We've got snacks. We've got food. We're okay. But again, we just haven't really seen anything dangerous yet, any crashes or anything slick right now. I did check in with Caltrans, the supervisor, Barry Newman, who works, Billy Newman, who works on this side, and he said there were earlier this morning a lot of spinouts because people were tailgating and going too fast, but now there's been this lull, so they're using kind of this time to get rid of some of that snow, putting down a lot of sand for traction. No salt yet, he said, but just sand for traction while we're in between some of the snowfall here. But it is snowing as we're speaking right now, but those Caltrans crews out there working to keep the roads clear so we have safe holidays and people make it to their destinations on time. So that's the situation we've got here in the Sierra for now, Dirk. Very different down there in the valley.
Yeah, very active.
Reporting live in Live Tracker 3, Michelle Bandur.
What's interesting is we're in a little bit of a break right now, and so you're kind of noticing that. Yeah, there is some snow, but we're not seeing much in the way of accumulation, and we're going to be seeing these showers that are in the valley, though, start to pick things up in the higher elevations. And let's go ahead and take a look at some areas. Rancho Cordova, our camera there on the left of your screen, just moments ago, you couldn't see anything because it was right in the middle of that thunderstorm that we're talking about right now. And here you can see to the right is our Sutter Health Park sky camera, and you can see those dark skies currently from West Sacramento looking towards the downtown area of Sacramento. And those thunderstorms are to that direction. If you're looking off more to the south and to the east, that's where you see that just wall of dark cloud cover if you're in West Sacramento. And this is what it is looking like from our radar. And you can see this line of thunderstorm activity. I'm going to go ahead and you can see just that right in here. Got that blue arrow showing. It's almost parallel with I-80 is where we're seeing that heavier rain associated with these thunderstorms. Very active with lightning strikes that continue to pop up at this time. Let's go ahead and zoom in to the area where we have a severe thunderstorm warning that's been issued. And you can see now it's still coming down pretty strong. It's along Auburn Folsom Road, and it's moving again just parallel with I-80 just to the east of Loomis is where we're seeing this. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that blue line. And then it's heading towards Auburn. And right now it looks like it's starting to weaken somewhat, but it's still going strong. And we have this heavy rain that stretches into Sacramento County, and it makes its way all the way down past Highway 16, past Elk Grove, and then on into San Joaquin County, where we have another thunderstorm, not nearly as intense as the one that's now working its way along I-80, but still Lockford, Clements. You're probably hearing those thunderclaps as well as we have some lightning that's in your area along Highway 12. in San Joaquin County. And then we see these showers. They become a little bit more sporadic as you work your way farther south, and not as much in the valley, but we're still seeing a lot of activity in through the Sierra where we get that transition. Now, as far as the snow levels, if we wanted to take a quick look at that, we can zoom in. You can see right here as you get up close to Blue Canyon. Well, Blue Canyon sits at about 5,200 feet, so that's where we're seeing that transition from some rain on into some snow as you go from Blue Canyon on into Immigrant Gap, and then over Donner Summit. There's Yuba Pass. As we get closer to Donner Summit, we're seeing just light showers right now. Nothing very heavy. There's Donner Summit, and then it picks up a little bit as you make your way between Donner Summit and on into Truckee. So there's lots of activity still. There's going to be the icy roads are out there, and still unsettled and unstable air across the valley. So the chance for thunderstorm activity is not only going to be with us through the rest of the daylight hours today, but we could see thunderstorms through the night tonight and into tomorrow morning. We have another wave, an intense wave of rain and winds that are going to be on the increase through the night tonight. So expect to have the chance for some more thunderstorm activity, some more gusty winds. We could see wind gusts up over 45 miles per hour, so not quite as strong as it was early this morning, where we had wind gusts between 50 to 60 miles per hour, but still, with all the activity that we've had with these several waves coming through, we've had the winds that have been an issue, and they will continue to be an issue. So folks that maybe haven't had any power outages, there's still the potential for that. As we take a look here, as in our Stockton sky camera, there's a little bit of sunshine making its way through the clouds, and you can see there's a little bit of a rainbow on the right side of your screen as we take a live look near Hammer Lane in Stockton, the flag moving. But again, winds have tapered off quite a bit. Here's another look up in the Sierra, where we have the snow coming down. Again, it's not coming down at a rate that's really going to be sticking too much on the roadways, but they're still trying to keep that clear. As Michelle Bandur was saying, they're putting sand down to help with the traction with those vehicles that are moving along at a very slow clip. And that's, again, that could be a problem if you're planning on traveling up in the Sierra. I would not recommend it. Tonight's not going to be a good night at any time. Again, we have folks that are already going up there right now, but I'd say from now through much of tomorrow morning, it's going to be very active in the mountains, while in the valley we will see some breaks. But again, the intensity of this next wave is going to be picking up between about 3 o'clock, or between about 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock as we get into the evening hours. After the sun goes down, we'll notice the rain start to pick up. We'll have some more thunderstorm activity even after the rain goes down, and the winds will start to increase as we go through the night tonight and into tomorrow morning. So again, a lot of activity still here in Northern California. But the good news is once we get through Friday, it's looking like we do have a bit of a break before we see some more active weather here in Northern California. So expect to have conditions that are going to be able to dry out at least a little bit. But another live look from Live Tracker along Highway 50. Folks up there, again, I would not recommend heading to the Sierra, as we are expecting more snow. In fact, we could see amounts anywhere from an additional foot to 1.5 feet of snow as you get up towards the passes through the night tonight and on into tomorrow. So it's going to be a very active night and into tomorrow morning. So we are looking at conditions that are going to be staying very poor for travel. So I would recommend, again, staying home. Let's go back to our Doppler radar real quick and just take a quick look at what we're doing. It looks like we have dropped the severe thunderstorm. Oh, let's go back. That's actually a little bit farther north. Right here. No, it's still up. But the particular cell that we've been watching is started to decrease in intensity, and another one has been developing. You can see this just to the east of Citrus Heights, that area of darker red. So you have the more intense, more burnt auburn kind of color that's in there. And this is near Oak Avenue, and we have near Old Auburn Road. It's just kind of right in between those areas. And as we zoom in a little bit closer, you know what the cross street is right here. Folsom Auburn Road, that's where we have some of the heaviest precipitation right now. And in a situation like that, there could be, again, some localized flooding, especially if we have some hail that's involved with that, because that just kind of slows down the process of drainage of that water trying to get to the gutters and get out and out of the way of the cars that are on the roads. And so that starts to build up, and so that could be a problem. We've already seen problems like that in some of the roadways, especially low-lying areas and off-ramps and things like that along the freeway. We've been seeing where the water has been building up, and so please try to stay away from those areas of water. You don't want to go through them, even if they're standing water. You don't know how deep it's going to get, and so stay away from those areas. And this is a situation where some of that could be building up And so, again, just highly recommend you to avoid any areas where there's some water that's been building up on the roadways, because here it can happen very easily. We had a severe thunderstorm warning, or we had a flash flood warning actually just yesterday, and kind of a similar situation where we had the hail that was associated with that, the heavy downpours, and that created some flooding issues in those areas of just north of Sacramento. So we're seeing again some heavy rain once again in the northeast corner of Sacramento on into Placer County and portions of El Dorado County is where we've been seeing some of that heavier rainfall, and this continues to build up. So we're seeing some more again that's developing to the south and to the west of this area, and this looks like it could be a continued issue. And as the rain moves to the north and to the east, it's moving along at a pretty good clip. But again, if you have all these cells lined up, kind of like a train, they're going to continue to pound these areas with heavy rain. And so again, we are looking at some situations where we could see that. So let's take a look now at our Rockland camera. This is a Caltrans camera near Rockland. And so we are near where that thunderstorm is, and so you can see kind of the darker clouds there to the left side of your screen, a little bit lighter there to the right. But yeah, there's been a lot of water, and you can see, of course, all that water on the roadways and the spray that's coming up from the cars as they pass on through. So again, heavy rain in the area, severe thunderstorm warning. Let's take a look. It looks like it has been dropped. So you can see on the radar that the warning box has been dropped, so that's some good news there. But we're still going to be talking about all the activity that's been going on in our area throughout the day today and over the past couple of days. Again, it's been a very active weather pattern, but the good news is, as I mentioned earlier, that we are going to see some breaks from the rain and from the snow, and maybe we'll get to be able to enjoy some of that fresh snow that we have up in the Sierra. But tonight, not one of those nights. Tonight, it's going to be another wave of this pattern. We have another wave, another storm that's going to come through and give us a chance for some more snow. And again, amounts that we're looking at, additional accumulations, we could see an additional foot to a foot and a half through the night tonight and into tomorrow in areas above 6,000 to 7,000 feet. So again, that's good news for the ski resorts, but not good news if you're going to be traveling up over the Sierra. So keep that in mind. If you do have travel plans this evening and into tomorrow morning, I would wait. In fact, we're going to continue to see some snow even into Friday. It's not going to be nearly as much as we're going to get tonight, but the chance for snow will linger through Friday. So I would suggest you may even want to hold off there. I'd put it off into Saturday or Sunday, because those should be much better days for traveling. So here's a look from our Caltrans camera at Kingvale. They've got the scrapers out there helping to clear the roadways. Doesn't look like there's any traffic, and so this is eastbound, and it does not look like they have any traffic going on that side. Westbound looks like they do have a few cars moving along, but it looks like eastbound, the scrapers are right there in the road, and I don't see anybody moving along the road. So they've had some issues, I'm sure, with cars and maybe some spin outs and accidents. So that's something that they're going to have to be dealing with, and so slow down. And you saw earlier, you saw Michelle Bandur in Live Tracker on Highway 50, not moving very fast. And there we are again. There's Live Tracker showing you the traffic and her direction. I think she's coming back down the mountain. Is she moving down from Strawberry? So she's moving from the east to the west, and you can see traffic going east is moving along, but her side of the road there on Highway 50 is not moving at all. Okay, so they are going east. So that's going up towards Tahoe. You're going east, and the other traffic that's going west coming down from Tahoe is moving along. So flip that around. And so that's what we're looking at right now. And you can see another factor here, and you can kind of see a little bit of this. As we go through the night tonight, and we'll have these periods of snow, we're going to have some reduced visibility. So not only is it going to be dangerous just for driving because of the slick road conditions, but also visibility is going to get pretty poor. And if you have heavy snow, and then when the snow lets up, you have fog that starts to develop. Those are not ideal conditions for travel. And so again, let's go ahead and just put off any travel plans that you have for tonight and into tomorrow morning, and push it off at least a day or two, because this weekend is looking much better for that. So that's the latest. Again, the National Weather Service has dropped the severe thunderstorm warning, but we still have some very heavy rain, and you can see that popping up here just to the east of Roseville and on towards Loomis. And these showers are moving along at a pretty good clip, but they're coming down with some heavy downpours pretty much parallel to I-80. We'll have more details about all this coming up a little bit later on in our 4 p.m. news. And if there's any other warnings that are issued, of course, we'll get into programming and let you know about that as well. So enjoy your evening, and Merry Christmas.